Howdy guys, and welcome back to another Sims 4 Speed build! Today we are building another farm home. This one isn't so tiny though. This one's actually kind of a much bigger home and can fit up to 4 Sims in it. It's not that big, but it's bigger than what I've been building recently. I'm sorry, I just really love smaller homes. I just like smaller homes because I feel I can make them a little bit cozier, but I think I did a pretty good job with this one. And it turns out really cute, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. And I want you guys to enjoy playing in it too. You know, if you do end up downloading it, you can find my gallery ID in the description down below, so that way you can go and play it. And it should be on the gallery right now if you guys want to go and check it out for yourselves. But yeah, it ends up really super cute. I love this little mezzanine type level, I guess, that looks out down to the living room, and there's a big fireplace, and it all just looks so cozy. There's so much light that comes into this home, which I am super happy about because I feel like the last couple of builds that I've done have been kind of lacking in the natural light department. So I'm just really happy to have finally been able to get to do a home that brings in more, you know, natural light. Right now we're just working on the roof here. We're just fiddling around, and I do like this really kind of like pretty curved type roof. I guess it kind of like makes it look like more of a barn type home. And I know it's another farmhouse type deal, and I'm sorry, but I love to build these homes. But don't worry, I have plans to work on some other different type styled homes, you know, this week, hopefully, if I can get around to it. My allergies have just been so bad. It's been so cold here. Like, it's been getting down into the 40s at night and staying in like the 50s, 60s during the day, and I just have awful year-round allergies. So if I sound a lot more nasally than usual, that's probably why. My allergies have just been absolutely on the fritz, and it is so annoying. Even like doing this video, I keep having to stop to blow my nose and sniffle, and I know maybe that's kind of gross, but this is just the kind of issues that I deal with, you know, on a daily basis. Just year-round allergies. Oh my gosh, they suck so bad. Do you guys have year-round allergies? They're really actually terrible, and I take stuff for it, you know, but it just does not seem to be helping me lately, and it's way too cold for, I guess, just to deal with all this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for winter to be over. Not saying that springtime is any better, but it's at least a little bit more durable, or I mean bearable. Durable. Oh my gosh, you see, my allergies have got me all sorts of like brain scrambled. Anyways, what were we just doing? I've been just going on about my allergies and like trying not to sniffle on recording. I think we got the roof down. We put the roof eaves on, and now we're just working on the entrance, and it turns out so adorable. It comes out so cute. It's like all nice and like organized, but super cozy. Very welcoming as soon as you come in the door. We do change out the doors and the windows, I think, several times before I find something that I actually thought was more suitable to the house. I just like to put placeholder stuff until I figure out paint and, you know, whatnot. It comes out so cute. Oh, I promise. Speaking of paint, it's actually not green, you guys. I did a blue farmhouse today. It's not green. I was like, okay, we've had enough of the green. I can't do green again. I can't just keep doing green. So I did like this deep blue color. It almost looks black, but I promise it's like a very deep desaturated like navy blue kind of color, like this. Here we go. It's super cute. That's another thing too. This isn't a restricted budget build, and I didn't really restrict the packs I was using, but as you can see, I think I'm using a lot of pets stuff. I mean, cats and dogs. Oh my gosh, you know how many times I keep calling the cats and dogs pack pets is actually insane. I don't know why they couldn't just call it pets. I guess because in the cats and dogs pack there isn't, you know, birds or the little rodent guys and stuff, you know, like how there was in Sims 2 pets and Sims 3 pets. It really is just cats and dogs, but still it just throws me off, and I just keep calling it pets, and I am so sorry. Sometimes I catch it, sometimes I don't. Anyways, just shout at me anytime that I do call it pets, because I'm just so horrible at it, and I do end up being insanely indecisive about the paint on the inside of the house. I don't know why, I really do struggle with the wall colors in any of the homes that I build. I change it so many times, but I also hate working with just the blank gray walls and trying to figure out what kind of furniture I want for the space. I always have to go off of what the wall looks like, because also I tend to stray away from themes. Like, I have a lot of I have cats and dogs, you know, which is very coastal, rustic type vibes. And then I have a lot of industrial furnishings and just modern stuff. So I end up, you know, kind of straying away. So if I don't have like a themed wall, you know, going on, this house is gonna be the weirdest, most eclectic styled home, you know. It's not gonna look good. It's not going to look good. Anywho, now we're just figuring out what the doors are going to look like. No, wait, we're still on the paint. We're still figuring out paint. What did I end up going with? I know it's not that white. Did I really go with white? I don't think I actually go with that white again. That's usually my default go-to in these sort of homes, because I'm just like, just leave it white, you know? White is good, white is blank, but it looks so boring. Do I actually go? No, I don't think I do. I thought I went with like a yellow wallpaper, but I guess not. Yeah, we're just fiddling around with doors right now, and I really like the idea of having multiple doors leading out to that back porch area, just looking out into the backyard, and I thought it looked pretty good. I would have loved to have had more doors, but I think a 3 would have just overdone it. And yeah, now we just skip through this whole chimney thing because I was having a hard time making it work. The walls just kept casting this weird shadow on the top of the chimney part, but it works. I figure it out and it works. And look, I actually put in an actual functioning chimney in this house, and it actually smokes when you have the fireplace on. It's so cute. I love it. I was so happy I was able to finally fit in a nice little chimney somewhere in one of my recent builds. I just feel like I have finally redeemed myself. You know, we're just putting windows on the second floor of the home, trying to figure out where to place them. These windows on this back wall end up being a little off center and stuff, so I do go back and I fix those. And yeah, that's like the little dining room area. You guys will see it. I just want to jump ahead and show you what it looks like already. Oh, did I? Oh, I guess I did only put one door on that back wall. I guess I just wanted more windows. But I guess, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the living room, it ends up being a little bit bigger than I originally intended. So I did want, you know, more doors going out to the back there. But you got one, like, little side door there. And then you have the one going directly off of the living room. But yeah, it just ended up being a little bit bigger. And oh, here's that little entranceway I was talking about earlier. Ends up coming out so cute. Look, I did have to get in green somewhere, and I'm so sorry. It's just such a good color, and it works so well with these brown earthy wood tones. And I know that the wood is like kind of all mismatched and probably looks really awful, but in these types of homes, I like to imagine that whoever lives here probably either built them, or all of these pieces were thrifted or picked up from yard sales and stuff like that. So not everything has to match. I actually prefer it when things don't match 100%. It just looks a little bit more natural to me, and it just looks better. I think it makes the space look a little bit more dynamic, I guess, and less boring and monotonous. You know, it just looks so much better when things are a little bit more mixed up and a little bit more mismatched. And I know that's kind of not for everybody, but for me, it's just, I like it. You know, that's just my very own opinion. And oh my goodness, this brick wall, I fight with myself so much trying to match the wall up nicely with a swatch on that fireplace. I go through so many different brick swatches for that wall, and here we go. Okay, I knew I didn't leave that wall just that plain boring white, but I don't know if I do that striped wallpaper there either. I think I end up just using a yellow plain swatch because it was a lot less busy and it was just a lot less going on, because, you know, the way that the wallpaper works, I would have used this striped wallpaper if it had like some, I guess, automatic crown molding, or if there was a striped wallpaper like that didn't have the crown molding. Like if there was one that only had like the baseboard molding, and then it had another one that just had the crown molding, so that way it could extend all the way up to the second floor. And I just really hate that about some of the wallpapers in this game. It's just that they only have the baseboard or the crown molding, and it just looks so weird when you try to do open below type floor plans like this. It makes me so unreasonably upset. And you know, that's kind of one thing I would hope to see in the next Sims game is automatic crown and baseboard molding, or at least, you know, different types of swatches that do that. That would be a lot nicer, I think, because I do love to build open to below floor plans like this, like lofts or mezzanines, and it's just very difficult to pick a wallpaper when it does that. And you know, I really do think it is possible for them to be able to do the automatic baseboard and crown molding, because you know how like on some of the siding, the exterior siding, you know how sometimes it'll put like that white sort of corner piece on it. If it has like enough walls built there, it'll do that end corner piece. So I don't understand why they can't do, you know, the automatic baseboard and crown molding like that, you know. But I'm also not a developer and I don't really know anything about that. I don't even know anything about CC or anything like that. I have no background in this stuff, so maybe it's a lot more difficult to figure out than I think it is. And I know that's just kind of the general consensus when it comes to wanting stuff like this, so it doesn't bother me that much, you know. Maybe we can see it in The Sims 5. That would be super fun. Yeah, I wouldn't be too butthurt. I can still live with it, and I really do know that using that siding example probably isn't the best example, because I know it is also very frustrating to use, because if you don't have enough tiles, you're not gonna get that white end piece. So I don't know, maybe it's just best that it is the way that it is. But we're doing the dining room now after I've finished babbling for so long about the living room wallpaper and the baseboard and crown molding. This dining room is so cute, and I know it looks kind of cramped and very much like it doesn't function, but this house has the Mino guarantee and it does function all the way through. Everything works. Your Sims can scoot on behind the chairs between that little console type table, and they can still sit down and get up. And I didn't really know what to do with this little area. It's just kind of like a little walkway area to take you back out to the porch if you want to go like that way or something. And oh my gosh, okay, I cut out a lot of whatever I was doing in this corner, trying to figure out what to put here. I was like, I'm just gonna make it be another chair, or I'm just gonna make it be another seating area. No, I just ended up putting one of those like little bonsai tree things there and calling it a day, because I was just like, I don't know what to put here. I didn't want it to be another seating area. But you know, maybe I could have put a couple of like the dining room chairs there, kind of like, you know, how you store extra chairs until you need them, like to put at the other end of the table for larger family feasts. But I thought, you know, maybe that table is long enough. It seats 6 Sims, so I didn't think it was, you know, needed to put additional chairs in that corner. But look at this cute little desk nook. This was totally and by complete accident. I didn't originally intend for this to be a thing, but when I saw this little nook created after I put the stairs in, I was like, oh my gosh, it is so perfect for a cozy little writer's nook or something like that. And I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, it just would have been such a complete missed opportunity if I didn't put that desk there. But now we're just moving on to the rest of the living room, putting in some curtains. I love these Desert Luxe curtains so much, and I think I've said that in almost every video I've uploaded so far, but I just love them. Okay, I've never used curtains before the Desert Luxe kit because I just don't like any of them, but these are super adorable, and I really wanted to use the Desert Luxe couches so much, but I wish there was like ones that weren't as big, or there were the living chairs that kind of matched it a little bit more. But I ended up going with just these base game couches because I think they worked a little bit better and they had more of a matching set. And I know earlier I was like, oh, I don't like matching stuff, you know. No, I like to have matching couch sets like this. Sometimes I'll do like an accent color, but I don't think this was the set to do that with, not in this house at least. And I know what y'all are thinking. They're like, ew, they're white, they're gonna get dirty so fast, but I want to imagine they're like a vinyl, you know, and they're easy to clean off, you know, just wipe off if someone gets a little messy on there, or if the dogs leave prints or something like that. It's so easy just to clean off. It's The Sims, nothing gets messy, let me have my white couches. I want white couches so badly in, you know, reality, but I'm just like, I also want a dog, and I know you just cannot have both. You can't have both. It's gonna get so dirty, filthy. So no white couches. Maybe I'll just end up like with a gray couch or something. So now we've just moved on to the second floor, and oh my gosh. Okay, so I kind of fiddled around with this area too, because I was like, what do I want to put here? I think like a reading nook would be really nice here. And wait until you guys see it. It is so cozy up here. Like I could spend hours just sitting up here reading books or doodling or working on a laptop or something like that. I like this little area. Don't worry, I toned down the warmth of this little landing space and make it, you know, so much less yellow. Yeah, put a little plant there to bring up some more color that isn't just so warm. I do love yellow and I do love warmth, but even for me, this is kind of a lot. I think I put in like a cooler light like this to bring it down a little bit and yeah, change the color of the couch so it's not also white, because we just got talking about, you know, white being messy and stuff, and it's just such a little adorable reading nook. I loved how that space came out. My absolute dream space in my dream house is to have the coziest, most comfy reading nook ever, because I do enjoy reading and I love just lounging around and chilling out and reading. It's just a lot of fun. I do like drawing, you know, so if I could have a space like that too, it would be absolutely the best space. You need to find me. I will be up there in that cozy little reading nook space. But here is the master bedroom. I did struggle a lot with the wallpaper in this and I ended up cutting out a whole lot of it because I was like, no, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I ended up going with this pale yellow patterned wallpaper, and I don't know how many of you really like the bed that I picked out. I like the swatch on that bed, but I just have never been able to find a very nice I guess house to use it in. So this is the first time I'm actually using the swatch on that bed, you know, that little sunflowers pot. And I do like to imagine that for this house, it's like the grandparents live here and this is their room, and then the room next door is for, you know, a couple of kids, and they come over and they spend the weekend at grandma's or something while the parents go off and, you know, do whatever they need, or the parents, you know, they all come over for the holidays. And I think it's just such a good little holiday house. They got, you know, a huge house with quite a bit to do. We do put like some activities in the backyard that they can do, and I love this house so much. It has a lot of character to it, I think, and I think it could be a really good little legacy home. I mean, it's not very affordable, I don't think. I think it ended up being close to 100,000 simoleons, and I am so sorry for that. I need to do some more like restricted budget builds. I actually have a plan or an idea to do one later this week if I can get around to it. Now we're just trying to figure out this little gallery wall situation. I worked around a lot with it, but I ended up scrapping most of it and just putting a mirror beside it. But I really thought it would be so cute to have like these older portraits of maybe past generations, like maybe it's the grandma with her brother and sister, or the grandmother's mother with herself and her brother, or, you know, just some sort of like configuration of that. And I just thought it was such a cute idea to have like a little gallery wall of that. I really love how that came out. But now we're moving on to the kids' bedroom, and I think it's kind of set up to have like a teen and a child, or maybe two children. You could swap out one of the beds for a toddler bed if you wanted to fit a toddler, you know, a little toddler child, a little baby child, if you will. And I built this house kind of a while ago, which is kind of why I've been a little bit struggling remembering my process. I think I built this after I played that game called Tell Me Why by Don't Nod, and it is an absolutely incredible game. Just insanely incredible. I loved it. I wouldn't recommend it for younger audiences, I don't think. Check it out, you know, if you want to. There are a bit of like, you know, graphic topics and stuff that might unsettle certain people, so, you know, check it out before you do play it. But I enjoyed getting to experience such a story, and it really did inspire me to decorate some kids' rooms. So which is why I put, you know, like a child and kind of like a teen's bedroom in this home, when normally I probably would have just done, you know, like a second master suite or something like that. And I know this like room is kind of small, and it really did come along so perfectly to be a kid's room. And I like how the room came out. It has so much personality, and I really do want to go and play in this house. I know I've been saying that about all of the houses that I posted, but I love to build houses that I could see myself playing in or even living in. Maybe this house is a little bit too big for my personal taste, but I think it would be absolutely fun to play in. Now we're just working on the outside. We're working on some like landscaping and stuff, trying to make it all pretty on the outside and trying to match the, I don't know, I guess the surrounding foliage and stuff. And here I go with my lavender plants. I really love the little lavender hedges. I just really seem to be adding them into any build that I do. They're so pretty. And I just love how lavender smells. Lavender is supposed to be very soothing and calming, so I like to put them in builds just for that reason alone. Plopping down some trees, figuring out what to do for the mailbox situation. I like this little mailbox too. I know I've been using it a lot lately. I don't know why. It's adorable. I love the little flowers on top, and I love the stone base, and it's so cute. And I thought it fit this, you know, house really well. It's got a lot of brick and stone going on, and I like to also do this thing where I kind of put a fence at the corners of the lot and not completely enclose the lot. I think it's just a nice little type of accent thing. And oh yeah, I put a little chessboard out at the back here so you can sit out and play chess. And going back to the fence detail that I was talking about a couple minutes ago, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but for me, especially on this lot, because I play on this lot a lot, the Sims, like my neighbors' Sims and stuff, they keep coming in through the back door, going through the back door, and then out the front door, and then they wait there. They stand there, okay? They stand there, and they wait for me to respond, like after they knock on the door, and I'm like, you just walked all the way through my house. Why are you just waiting there? Like, that is so weird. And I don't know if maybe they fixed that issue, but it was an issue I was having when I was playing my Sims self-dream life sort of thing. It's a problem that I've always had, and maybe they fixed it now. But even like if I have the back door not set, you know, as my front door, I mean, obviously I'm setting my front door as my front door. But yeah, I don't know why that's always been an issue, and I've never really wanted to lock it for other Sims that wasn't in my household, because, you know, in case I do have an event, I don't want them to have to walk all the way around. You know, it just looks silly. So that's always an issue that I've had. And if you guys have had it, you know, hey, at least I'm not the only one. Anywho, enough about my Sims issues. We are working on the backyard. I think we're gonna be tidying up real soon, just adding a little garbage area. And hey, at least it's not by the back door to where your kitchen and stuff is. I made sure to make a separate little area, especially for the garbage, and just adding some terrain paint detail under the fences because I like them to seem like they've been there a little while, you know, and they've just settled there, and the grass, you know, hasn't really grown back, and adding some little hedges, you know, just to try and tidy it all up together. And in this little corner, I put like a tree and one of those like little imagination tent things that the children can play in. I size it down and it still works, you know, but it's such a cute little area. I wanted to have something, you know, relatively kid-friendly in the backyard, considering, you know, the whole thing was I want this to be a nice little family farmhouse type deal, you know. It's definitely different from what I normally make, which is usually homes that are suited for teens or adults, you know, but look at how cute that looks under the tree and stuff. I do put some lights out here so it's all lit up at night, but we're gonna get into the screenshots now, and I'm just gonna leave you guys with these. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this speed build today. I hope you enjoyed watching this cute little family farmhouse come to life. If you would like to grab it and put it in your game, my gallery ID is in the description down below. I'm gonna get going now, but I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a beautiful holiday, and I will see you in the next one.